Welcome to one of history's most epic stories, the rise and fall of the Russian Tsars, a saga filled with drama, intrigue, and power struggles. For nearly 4 centuries, from 1547 to 1917, the Tsars transformed a small principality into the world's largest empire, stretching across continents and cultures. Their reigns were marked by conquest, splendor, and revolution, each era leaving an indelible mark on the fabric of Russian society. We'll meet brutal tyrants, visionary reformers, and millions of ordinary people whose lives shaped a nation, each contributing to the complex tapestry of Russian history. The story begins long before the first Tsar, in the forests and rivers of Eastern Europe, where the seeds of a great civilization were sown. Here, Viking adventurers and Slavic tribes laid the foundations of Russian culture and identity, blending traditions and forging a new path. The choices made 1,000 years ago still echo today, influencing modern Russia in ways both subtle and profound. The Tsar's legacy is everywhere: Russia's vast size, its centralized power, and its complex relationship with the West, a legacy that continues to shape global politics. By exploring their world, we unlock the forces that still shape Russia, revealing the enduring impact of their rule. This isn't just a history lesson, it's a key to understanding the present, a lens through which we can view the complexities of today's Russia. So let's begin our journey with the birth of the Russian people, a tale of resilience and transformation. From breathtaking art to brutal oppression, the era of the Tsars is a story of extremes, a narrative of contrasts that defined an era. Their rule was a constant struggle between progress and tradition, freedom and control, a dynamic that fueled both innovation and conflict. Let's dive into the first chapter, the birth of Rus, where the story of a nation truly begins. Over 1,000 years ago, Eastern Europe was a land of forests, rivers, and scattered Slavic tribes. In the 9th century, Viking warriors, Varangians, arrived, seeking fortune along the great rivers. A chieftain named Rurik established his rule in Novgorod, founding a dynasty and a new state, Kievan Rus. The capital soon moved to Kiev, a vital trade hub between Scandinavia and Byzantium. The Ruses blended Norse and Slavic traditions, creating a unique culture. In 988, Prince Vladimir the Great adopted Eastern Orthodox Christianity, forever shaping Russian art, language, and identity. Grand churches rose, monasteries became centers of learning, and Kievan Rus flourished as a powerful European state. But far to the east, a new threat was rising. The Mongols would soon bring this golden age to a violent end. The stage was set for Russia's next transformation. In the 13th century, Mongol armies swept across Russia, destroying cities and shattering Kievan civilization. For 240 years, Russian princes paid tribute to the Mongol Khans, a period known as the Mongol Yoke. Cut off from Western Europe, Russia endured hardship and stagnation. Yet, in the shadows, Moscow began to rise. Its princes became chief tribute collectors, amassing power and land. Ivan I, the moneybag, made Moscow the spiritual center by bringing the Orthodox Church there. Ivan III, the Great, united rival principalities, and in 1480, ended Mongol rule at the Ugra River. He tripled his state's size and began calling himself Tsar, signaling imperial ambition. Moscow emerged as the heart of a new, unified Russia. The Mongol era left scars, but it also forged the centralized power that would define the Tsars. The age of empire was about to begin. The first true Tsar would change Russia forever. Enter Ivan the Terrible. Ivan IV, known as Ivan the Terrible, became Russia's first crowned Tsar in 1547. His early reign brought reforms, a new legal code, a standing army, and expansion eastward, conquering Kazan and Astrakhan. St. Basil's Cathedral was built to celebrate these victories, but tragedy struck. Ivan's wife died, and paranoia consumed him. He unleashed the Oprichnina, a reign of terror by his secret police, targeting nobles and suspected traitors. Thousands were executed. Novgorod was devastated. In a fit of rage, Ivan killed his own heir, leaving the dynasty weakened. When Ivan died in 1584, he left a terrorized, unstable country. His brutal methods centralized power but sowed chaos. The throne passed to his feeble son Fyodor, and Russia teetered on the brink. The seeds of crisis had been sown. The time of troubles was about to begin. After Ivan's death, Russia plunged into the time of troubles, a period of famine, civil war, and foreign invasion. The Rurik dynasty ended with Fyodor's death, Boris Godunov's rule was plagued by famine and unrest. Pretenders claiming royal blood, like the false Dmitry, seized the throne with foreign backing. Civil war erupted. Poland and Sweden invaded, and Moscow itself was occupied. The Russian state nearly collapsed. Amid despair, a national movement arose. Led by merchant Kuzma Minin and Prince Dmitry Pozharsky, a volunteer army drove out the invaders in 1612. This victory saved Russia from foreign domination. The nation had survived its darkest hour. The people demanded stability and a new ruler. A new dynasty was about to rise. The Romanovs would restore order, but old wounds would linger. In 1613, the Zemsky Sobor elected 16-year-old Michael Romanov as Tsar, founding a dynasty that would rule for 300 years. The early Romanovs, Michael and his son Alexis, rebuilt the shattered state, restored order, and reclaimed lost lands. They formalized serfdom, binding peasants to the land and deepening social divides. The 1649 legal code entrenched this system, pleasing nobles but fueling future unrest. Religious reforms sparked the Raskol or schism, splitting the Orthodox Church and persecuting old believers. Despite turmoil, the Romanovs brought stability after chaos. But beneath the surface, social and religious tensions simmered. The foundations for future upheaval were set. Russia was stable but divided. The stage was set for a ruler who would drag Russia into the modern world. Enter Peter the Great. The empire was about to be transformed. Peter the Great, a giant in every sense, both in stature and ambition, ascended the Russian throne determined to drag his country into a new era and modernize it by any means necessary. Obsessed with Western technology and ideas, he traveled across Europe incognito, eager to learn the secrets of shipbuilding, navigation, and statecraft from the continent's most advanced nations. Returning home, Peter forced his nobles to adopt Western dress and customs, reformed the army along European lines, built a powerful navy from scratch, and streamlined the government to make it more efficient and centralized. His ultimate goal was to secure a window to the west by conquering Baltic territory from Sweden, giving Russia access to vital trade routes and European influence. After years of brutal war, Peter's forces triumphed at the decisive Battle of Poltava in 1709, a victory that announced Russia's arrival as a major European power. He founded St. Petersburg on the Baltic coast, a bold, Western-style capital city built at immense human cost, rising from the marshes as a symbol of Russia's new direction. Peter's reforms were radical, sweeping, and often brutally enforced, but they transformed Russia from a medieval kingdom into a powerful modern empire. In 1721, after decades of relentless change, he declared himself emperor, cementing his legacy as the architect of a new Russian state. Russia was now recognized as a modern European power, at least on the surface, with its nobility adopting Western ways and its capital gleaming on the Baltic. Yet beneath the surface, the old ways persisted. The vast majority of Russians remained peasants, and the Tsar's will was absolute law. Peter's legacy was a powerful, ambitious, and restless empire, one that would continue to seek greatness and expansion. The age of enlightened autocrats had begun, ushering in new ideas and challenges for Russia's rulers. Soon, Catherine the Great would take the stage, ready to leave her own indelible mark on Russian history. Catherine the Great, a German princess, seized the throne in 1762 and became Russia's most famous empress. She embraced Enlightenment ideals, corresponded with philosophers, and promoted education and the arts. Catherine reformed government, founded schools, and built the Hermitage Museum. But her reign was a golden age for nobles and a dark era for serfs. The Pugachev Rebellion, a massive peasant uprising, was crushed brutally, ending hopes for serf reform. Catherine expanded the empire, defeating the Ottomans and seizing the Black Sea coast and Crimea. She joined the partitions of Poland, adding vast lands and millions of new subjects. By 1796, Russia was a global superpower. Catherine's rule brought culture and conquest, but deepened social divides. The seeds of revolution were sown. The 19th century would bring reform, war, and upheaval. The Tsar's grip was slipping. The 19th century tested Russia's might and its soul, as the empire faced both external threats and internal struggles that would shape its destiny for generations. In 1812, Napoleon invaded. Scorched earth tactics and the brutal Russian winter destroyed his army, making Russia a European savior and a symbol of resilience. Yet, beneath the glory and triumph, serfdom and stagnation held Russia back, trapping millions in poverty and preventing true progress. Alexander II freed the serfs in 1861, earning the title Tsar Liberator. His bold move was meant to modernize Russia and bring it closer to Western Europe. He modernized government and law, introducing reforms that changed Russian society, but these changes fueled new demands and ignited revolutionary fervor among the people. Alexander II was assassinated, his successors clamped down on dissent, but unrest only grew, as hope for freedom clashed with harsh repression. Industrialization created a restless urban class, minorities chafed under Russification, and the cities became hotbeds of discontent and new ideas. Defeat in the Russo-Japanese War and the 1905 Revolution forced limited reforms, like the creation of a parliament, but autocracy endured and real change was slow. World War I was a disaster. Millions died, the economy collapsed, and faith in the Tsar vanished as hunger and suffering spread across the land. In 1917, revolution erupted in Petrograd, as workers, soldiers, and citizens demanded change and took to the streets in massive numbers. Nicholas II abdicated, ending 370 years of Tsarist rule and bringing centuries of Romanov monarchy to a sudden close. The Romanov dynasty fell, the old order was swept away, leaving a power vacuum and uncertainty about Russia's future. Russia stood on the brink of an even more radical revolution as new leaders and movements vied for control in the chaos. The world would never be the same, as the Russian Revolution sent shockwaves across Europe and inspired both hope and fear worldwide. The age of the Tsars was over, and a new, uncertain era had begun for Russia and the world.